This is my fourth attempt to do a 49ers quality control meeting with head coach Kyle Shanahan, who's been very generous to give me all his time. The first three times, the audio and the video were getting out of sync, and I don't know why. It's never happened before. So if it happens this time, I'm just going to keep going and say, oh, well. I'm really sorry this is happening, Kyle. Really feel bad for you for wasting your time. But you're such a generous, patient person that appreciate it. I'm just going to give this a shot. If it gets out of sync, I can edit it later and put up shorter versions and stuff. So let's give it a shot, Kyle. Let's talk, man. I've said this 3 times. I'm not going to say it too. It was better earlier when I was talking. But now all I want to say is I want to reframe the conversation. Everyone's saying, who should start week 1? Let's talk about Lance. What is he doing? He's not doing enough. He needs to show more. He needs to be perfect. Nah, let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, the starting quarterback who's given away the job, throwing a pick to Fred Warner every freaking day. Let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. No, it's like this guy can do nothing. Go out there and throw a couple of dink passes, an interception, and then go 10 for 10 the rest of the day with a bunch of short passes, and people be like, hey, he bounced back. But Trey Lance looks raw. No. Kyle, you need to start the quarterback who gives you the best chance to win. And it's the guy who probably can run, throw downfield, and not throw a bunch of picks. Jimmy can't run, can't throw downfield, throws a bunch of picks. That's a problem. And I know he has this mystique of a few years ago. Thank you, Priya. I appreciate it. I was having a nervous breakdown a second ago. I know he has this mystique of winning. It's like, okay, who cares about the interceptions? He wins. Well, the problem is he's 5-4 in his last 9. And in his last 11 starts, his QB, his TD to INT ratio is 1-1, 10-10. In camp, it's 9-8, 1-1. It's carrying over. I think he's regressing, Kyle. So if you want to start him week 1 just to not piss off a portion of the George Kittle, for example, fine. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, based on what he's done in practice and in camp in the last 11 starts, he'll probably give away the job by halftime or by the end of the game. He's terrible in week 1s. He was terrible last year, week 1. He was terrible the year before then in Tampa, terrible the year before then in Minnesota. He's a slow starter. He's been bad in camp. He's been bad in his last 11 starts. He's regressing. It's not good. He's a backup quarterback. That's what his numbers say now. 1-1 TD to INT ratio. Average in the league is 2-1. Lance's is 3-1 in camp. I think it's an easy decision here. Forget the fact that Lance has a higher completion percentage in camp. TD to INT ratio is more important. The video is kind of off again. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. It's been happening to me all day. It's really upsetting. What are you going to do? All right, let's just power through it. Move on. Next part. Jimmy Garoppolo, why is he regressing? Does he not care? No. He's a pocket quarterback who still lacks experience, okay? He's got about 40 starts. And what happens is the game gets harder for quarterbacks as the league gets a book on him. So the book on Jimmy is real simple. Well, he doesn't want to throw outside the numbers, so single up the wide receivers, take away the slants, the in-breaking routes, force him to run fades and deep comebacks and outs because Jimmy doesn't want to throw that. So just single them up, play single high safety because he doesn't want to throw deep, and then just pack everyone underneath because he's going to keep throwing in that little area and it'll lead to picks. So there's that. The other thing is that he's a pocket quarterback, and the offense is the NFL is evolving. Offense is evolving, and I keep comparing this to the NBA, where like for 50 years it was all about scoring in the low post. You got to score in the low post. You got to get the ball as close to the basket as possible. Give it to a 7-footer who will shoot a contested turnaround skyhook for 2. Until, after a lot of data was taken, a lot of math was done, people realized, no, mathematically, that's not the best shot. You want to shoot a corner 3, open corner 3 all day. And that's how basketball evolved. It used to be you can't jump shooting teams can't win championships until the Warriors did it 4 times or whatever it was. So that's how the NBA changed. I think football is similar. Forever, it's been you got to throw from the pocket. You got to throw from the pocket. Have to. I don't really agree with that anymore because the pocket's a very dangerous place. Basically, the pocket exists for 2 seconds in today's NFL. 2 seconds. And the guys who can succeed that can't move out of the pocket, that are only throwing from the pocket, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, there are guys who can consistently get the ball out of their hands in 2 seconds. Because if they don't get the ball out of their hands in 2 seconds, they're getting hurt. They can't scramble. Jimmy Garoppolo can't consistently get the ball out of his hands in 2 seconds. But you know what? No pocket quarterback can who's got less than like 10, 15 years of experience. You need a great offensive line. You need like 10 years of experience because pocket passing is all about experience. Who's the last quarterback who came into the league who really couldn't move at all, who's good? Matt Ryan? He got drafted 13 years ago. Every other pocket quarterback who's been good since then can also move and get outside the pocket. Andrew Luck, anyone you name, Justin Herbert, they can get outside the pocket. I think the era of the pure pocket quarterback is dead. I think the pocket is dead. And just like the low post game is dead. And what you need is to create as many opportunities as possible to get the quarterback on the perimeter outside the pocket. That's what just like you need as many opportunities in basketball to get shots up from the perimeter, from the 3-point line. That's where your big plays come from. So Jimmy can't do that. That's not part of his game. When he can get the ball out of his hands in 2 seconds in the pocket, great. He's fine. But when, let's say there's those 3 plays in the game where he freezes, where the first read isn't there and he doesn't know what to do. What does he do? He panics. Something bad happens. He turns the ball over, or he takes 3 pirouettes and goes down. He gets hurt. The longer he holds the ball, the worse the outcome is for the offense. That's not good. And so the best thing you can hope for is he gets the ball out of his hands real quickly in the pocket. But still, even when he does that, the pick is coming because I feel that the quarterback is at a disadvantage in the pocket. The defense has all the advantages. They can blitz. They can not blitz. They can disguise their pressure scheme. They can make it seem like they're bringing pressure from one side, bring it from the other. They can make it seem like they're bringing pressure, drop it out. They can disguise their coverages. They can really put 100 years of defensive creativity on you. And the only people who can really deal with that and are the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Right? But as soon as you get outside the pocket, whether by design or by scrambling, now the quarterback has all the advantages because zone coverage disappears. Everyone just plasters man to man. And the guy can run. So when a mobile quarterback holds the ball 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, it's a good thing for the offense. That's what we've seen with Russell Wilson. He's functional from the pocket. He's pretty good. His height limits him. But as soon as he gets outside the pocket, you're like, oh, we're screwed. Screwed. He can do whatever he wants. He's toying with us now. And that's what you want. Just like how Steph Curry toys with the defenses in the NBA and shoots those threes, you want a quarterback who gets outside the pocket because at that point, the defense is just hanging on for dear life. Jimmy can't do that. Kirk Cousins can't do that. That's why I don't want Kirk Cousins. Kyler Murray can do it. Kyler Murray is like not a good quarterback. If you watch the all 22 of Kyler Murray, he misses people left and right. Doesn't see it. But he's good because as soon as he gets outside the pocket, he's one of the most deadly playmakers in the NFL. I'd rather have him outside the pocket than Lamar Jackson because what you can do with Kyler is set him up wherever you want, and he can make rocket throws all over the field. You can set him up way on the left, outside the pocket. And he can make throws all over the field. Whereas Jimmy, he needs to be in the middle of the field so he can throw those 10-yard throws. The range is limitless. And again, there is no pass protection in the NFL. That's another problem with Jimmy. Jimmy could go to a team with a great offensive line and play better, but the Niners don't have that. They have a good run blocking offensive line. They don't even really invest in pass protection, except for their left tackle who's hurt. He's just all in the wrong spot. He needs to be on a team with a great pass protection that can get he needs to be on New England, He needs to be on New England, but he's not. He's here. And anytime he holds the ball too long, something bad happens, he panics. He's a dinosaur. You don't want quarterbacks like him. You don't want quarterbacks like Mac Jones. You don't want quarterbacks like Kyle Trask because he's not going to be the next Tom Brady. The next Tom Brady isn't coming through that door. College isn't producing the next Matt Ryan. They're not producing the next Peyton Manning. They're producing the next Kyler Murray. And that's what the Niners got. They're producing the next Lamar Jackson, the next Russell Wilson. That's what the Niners got. So Garoppolo, sorry. They drafted you to be the next Tom Brady. You ain't. You never will be. There won't be a next Tom Brady. You're a mirage. You're a dinosaur. And the Niners correctly are moving on. Jimmy is a pure point guard, can make the right plays, run the offense, etc. Trey is the evolution, a guard that can both pass and score at a high level. Yeah, exactly. Trey is Steph Curry. Jimmy is Rajon Rondo. Good call. Absolutely. All right, let's move on. Okay. Why Lance will have instant success despite his inexperience. Okay, Kyle, this is something we need to talk about because I don't know how all in you are with Trey. I know you had success with RG3 and you ultimately decided to draft Trey Lance, but I think you wanted Mac Jones. I think you still feel like, I think you're old school, man. I think you're feeling like you have to throw from the pocket. You have to be a pocket quarterback. And maybe Trey Lance won't be ready until he's better at the pocket, which is ridiculous because he's not going to improve his pocket passing on the bench. That's only going to come from experience. But anyway, I feel that even though he's extremely inexperienced, all of that's going to show up in his pocket passing. And he's not going to be as good of a pocket passer as even Jimmy Garoppolo, who's average at it right away, that he can have instant success and win a lot of games. Because as I said, pocket pass is kind of irrelevant. You just need to do it enough. 2/3 of the time, quick throws, play action stuff. Just enough to keep the defense honest. But really, you want to get him on the perimeter as much as possible by design and spontaneously. As I said, all these quarterbacks who can do it win right away. It's what you want. The pocket doesn't exist. Get him outside. Now the game flips in his favor. And what's cool is you don't have to just make it playground football, although playground football does favor the offense. And Trey Lance can do that. Just run around like Russell Wilson does behind the line of scrimmage so he can throw. That favors the offense. But the other thing that the Niners can do, and what I want you to do, Kyle, I want you to build an offense that doesn't look like anything you've ever done before. The future. You're cutting edge. I want you to be cutting edge here. I want you to find like 20 different ways to change the launch point for Trey Lance by design. Different places for him to set up, half rolls, full rolls, all kind of different launch points. That way, the defense never knows where he's going to set up. That way, the defensive linemen are playing, where's Waldo? That's what they're playing. Sometimes he rolls out way the hell over here to the left or way the hell over here to the right. Sometimes he rolls out and throws on the run. Sometimes he rolls out, stops, come back. You need to have a million different ways to move the launch point. That's your job. That's the future of NFL offenses. It doesn't look like what Bill Walsh did in the 80s with the 3-step drop and the 5-step drop and the 7-step drop from under center. It's evolving. If Bill Walsh were alive, he wouldn't be doing the same thing from the 80s. It's all about getting quarterbacks out of the pocket. That is the modern NFL. Get them the hell out of the pocket. The pocket is a trap. The pocket is a dangerous freaking place. The best you can do is throw a quick little pass from the pocket in a second and a half. If it ain't there, get the hell out. And Jimmy can't get out. Trey Lance can get out. And once you get him out, everything's in your favor. That's how the Niners lost to Carson Wentz last year. All they had to do was keep that dude in the pocket. They couldn't do it. And Robert Saleh, almost arguably the best defensive coach in the league, could shut down Drew Brees, any pocket quarterback, with no problem. As soon as he got outside the pocket, it's like, man, there's nothing I can do. I got no more tricks. I just need guys to match up and hang on. And he's right. The best you can do with these quarterbacks is try to keep them in the pocket. Once they're out, you're screwed. We saw it with the Niners last year. Robert Saleh could tell you that firsthand. There's a lot I can do when the quarterback's in the pocket. But when he's out, there's nothing. There is nothing I can do. All I can do is keep him in there. A lot of different ways to try to keep him in there. So your job, Kyle, is a million different ways to get him out. Think of them as 3-point shots. You got to create a lot of them every day. So how much? Well, a lot of times, I would say conservative, conventional quarterbacks will like drop a quarterback straight back 9 out of 10 times. That's unacceptable with Trey Lance. I would say with any quarterback, if I was a coach, I would move the launch point 1 out of 4 times. But with Lance, I think you should do it at least 1 out of 3 times. That's the changeup. That's the curveball. That's enough for defenses to be playing Where's Waldo. Every third snap, 1st and 10, 2nd and short, goal line, short yardage, you should be thinking play action bootleg. Because even if he can't get the throw, he can run. He can run. And even if the throw is open 20 yards down the field, he could be like, yeah, but I can run for that too. I could just run for the 20 yards. It's so easy. And that's what I think you're seeing all these young quarterbacks have success. The ones who fail are guys like Rosen who can't do this, who can't get on the perimeter, who are stuck in the pocket and they're inexperienced and they're on bad teams and they get a new coordinator every year and they're just screwed. But the ones who can just get the hell out of the pocket and play playground football, they win. Justin Fields is going to win. Trevor Lawrence is going to win. Zach Wilson is going to win. They're going to have success, and Trey Lance will too. So if you like keep him on the bench for 4 years so he can improve his pocket passing and waste this whole rookie contract, you missed the point, Kyle. He needs to be playing right now, despite his inexperience, so he can learn on the job. And the times you give him to throw from the pocket, you'll set him up for success. But most of the time, you're going to be looking to get him out there, out of the pocket, so he can tear the league apart. That's what you're going to do. And that's the future of offense in the NFL. It sounds counterintuitive. You got to pass from the pocket. You got to score in the low post. No, you don't. You got to get that quarterback out of the freaking pocket. What the Cardinals have to do is find a million ways to get Kyler Murray out of the pocket. Same for you, Kyle. A million ways to get Trey Lance out of the pocket. Because what's cool about him is even if you roll him all the way to the left and he sets up, he can throw all over the field. He can throw left, right, middle, anywhere. He's got the arm strength. But the thing is, I want to talk scheme real quick, and then we'll move on. You can't do naked bootlegs all the time. That's where you roll the guy out and there's no blocker. Because what happens is the way this, but I'm just going to explain it for people who may be overhearing, eavesdropping. The end man on the line of scrimmage, let's say the bootleg is to the right. Well, the defensive end on that side is unblocked. And he can dictate what the offense does by running at the quarterback. If he runs to the quarterback, as soon as he takes out the play fake, turns around, sees the defensive end in his face, he is forced to throw the hot route, which is the shortest route. It's designed, the little dump off in case that defensive end doesn't honor the run and go straight to the quarterback. Theoretically, if you build your whole offense around the naked bootleg, the defense could play it that way every time, force the hot route, and really dictate what you do on offense, which is not what you want. And that's why on the first play, when you called that second play, when you called that deep throw, the half roll to the left, stop, throw back to the right to Trent Sherfield, you had Ross Dwelley blocking. That was great. I really want to commend you for that, because when you have a blocker peel back and be a personal protector for Trey Lance outside the pocket, what you're doing a few things. One, you're basically creating a new pocket outside, and you're blocking that unblocked defensive end, and you're dictating to the defense. You're not letting the defense tell you where to throw. Now you're giving Trey Lance an opportunity to scan the field and throw deep and get big plays. Now the advantage is back on the offensive side. They're dictating. So I understand why you're doing it, Dwelley, because he's mobile and you can take him all the way across the formation and he can get there. Ideally, you would do it with a guard, because you don't want to take Dwelley out of the pattern. You want 5 eligibles, not 4. But Laken Tomlinson's kind of a stiff. Daniel Brunskill is kind of a stiff. They can't really get out there necessarily in time to block that defensive end who's really athletic. So here comes Dwelley. Interesting. Dwelley's going to have to do a lot of blocking this year. But yes, for you to create this offense that is actually built around play action bootlegs, not just playground football, improv stuff, but play action bootlegs, you need a lot of different ways to have these blockers. And Dwelley is the one that you're using so far. So you understand. I just want other people are saying you need to run naked bootlegs all the time and get him out there in space. No, he needs a blocker. Otherwise, the defense has the advantage again. Otherwise, the defense is dictating. You need to dictate. That's what's so cool about getting the quarterback on the perimeter. You're dictating. The defense is at your mercy. I mean, think about it. When you have Jimmy Garoppolo on the field, the defense has to prepare for what? The throw over the middle. When Lance is on the field, they have to spend the entire week preparing for the zone read package, which is very difficult to prepare for. It takes a lot of effort. They have to spend the entire week preparing for the play action bootleg package, where he goes both sides with the blocker and can throw all over the field. That's a lot. I mean, they don't have to prepare for that with Jimmy Garoppolo. They also have to prepare for just the emphasis of containing him and making him play quarterback and not pressuring him and flushing him out. That which is counterintuitive for defensive ends. We saw that for Eric Armstead last year. Every time it's like, dude, don't stop. Just keep him in the pocket. Couldn't do it. And then they also have to prepare for the third down quarterback spy. Who's good and who can do it? So there's all these things defenses have to prepare for before pocket passing with Trey Lance. Pocket passing is like a third of what they have to prepare for with him. You just overwhelm people with preparation, not with Jimmy Garoppolo. So these are all reasons why these mobile quarterbacks have so much success. You overwhelm defenses with preparation. Anyway, Kyle, hope you hear that. Robert says, what about the financial impact of all of this? Operating within the salary cap, to me, that's a big reason why to cut Jimmy, move on, and start Trey. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I'm not saying Trey Lance is ever going to be worth the contract Josh Allen got, but he doesn't have to be. As a young quarterback on this rookie deal. He's cheap and he can have success playing a new style of offense. Now, of course, he's not going to be as effective running around when he's 34 years old. Eventually, he's going to be confined to the pocket, and he'll either be able to play like Peyton Manning or he won't. Probably he won't. But what I'm saying is, I think the future is you don't have to pay $40 million for a quarterback. You can get really talented playmakers for about $10 million who are deadly outside the pocket. Get them outside the pocket. Pocket passing is hard. It takes decades to learn how to do, and pass protection sucks. So forget about it. It is the new low post offense, I think. It's the NBA, it's NFL's version. Be honest, is Trey ready to start? I'm sick of Jimmy fans saying he isn't. I mean, I do. I think he's ready to start because he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Is he a finished product? No. Will he look better next year? Yes. But he'd look even better next year if he has playing time this year, because the type of improvement he needs, he can only get from playing. He's the most inexperienced quarterback that came into this draft. He needs playing time. You cannot improve pocket passing watching. Those are reps you need. That's why they're making him do it in preseason, even though he's getting sacked. And my only objection was, yo, can you not get him hurt in preseason, please? I know he needs to improve. Video is lagging, audio by second, not too bad though. I know, man, it's been happening all day. I don't understand what's going on. I'm really sorry about it, guys. It's really, really pissing me off, but we're going to keep going. All right. So that's all I want to say about the quarterbacks. Let's talk about some other rookies though. Kyle, I don't know if you understood when you drafted Talanoa Hufanga how important he would be to your season this year, but he's one of your most important players, because I don't know what you were expecting at strong safety, but you got nothing. I can't believe that you expected Jaquiski Tartt to come back and play, because you gave him an $800,000 contract, presumably because he couldn't pass a physical because he had a really serious turf toe injury. Well, he still isn't running, and he's going to start the season on PUP most likely. I don't know if he'll ever play this season or again. So now your situation at strong safety is Tavon Wilson, who's a career backup, HaHa Clinton-Dix, who has been a starter but got cut from the Cowboys last year, didn't play, and has only been on the team for 3 practices, or this rookie, Hufanga, who is a 5th-round pick but has been here all offseason and is really playing well so far. He is encouraging. You didn't prepare at all at strong safety. This is by far the biggest oversight on the roster. But Hufanga is bailing you out by being one of your best rookies so far. I mean, I got to say, other than Trey Lance, Hufanga is the most impressive. Trey Sermon hasn't shown it yet. Neither has Banks. Trey Sermon's looked good in spurts, but he hasn't liked Hufanga. Hufanga's making plays that Sermon hasn't made yet. This guy looks like a real good fit with Ward, because Ward is a strong safety on first and second down, in my opinion. I mean, he's a free safety on first and second down, in my opinion. You don't really want him in the box. You want him deep. He's built more like a corner. Sorry, Jimmy. But on third down, you want him in coverage, which makes him a strong safety. You want him on the tight end. So the strong safety who plays with Ward needs to be a free safety some of the time. The guy who plays in the middle of the field on third down and is the ball hawk, ranging left and right, intercepting passes. That was Tartt. He was good at it. Remember that interception he had week 1 against of 2017 against the Panthers? One hand, that was great. It was supposed to be Tavarius Moore this year because he's so fast, but Tavarius Moore, despite his speed, he doesn't really make plays like that, ranging from left to right in center field. He doesn't have the instincts. He doesn't seem to read plays early enough. You need instincts. When I talked to Eric Davis early in the offseason, he wanted the Niners to bring back Richard Sherman as a free safety because he said, I don't care about his speed. He can read plays quickly and he can intercept passes. He said that's what Merton Hanks did. Merton Hanks used to intercept a lot of passes like that, and he wasn't super fast. Well, that's Hufanga right now. He's not that fast, but he has been able to get from sideline to sideline and break up passes, intercept passes, which is a skill, and it's rare. And so you did a good job drafting this guy. I like him. I just got to stay healthy. He had some injury issues in college, but I think this guy could really save you because if you have one weak link in the secondary at strong safety, he's getting exposed. He is definitely getting exposed. And the way you play your strong safety in the middle of the field on third downs, that guy is your last line of defense. He's got to be good. So Hufanga looks good so far. You did a good job there. Congrats. Just want to say that. All right. Another rookie who's really important, Deommodore Lenoir. This guy, I don't know if you intended him to be. I don't think you did. because he was the second cornerback you drafted. You had issues on offensive line and cornerback, so you drafted 2 at each spot. The 2 offensive linemen you drafted were Aaron Banks, Jalen Moore. Ironically, the second guy is the one who's in the starting lineup right now, Jalen Moore. Not Banks, he's hurt. Moore is in there for Trent Williams, who's hurt. At cornerback, ironically, Ambry Thomas is not the one stepping up. It's Deommodore Lenoir. What's going on is that while Jason Verrett's healthy, we don't know how long that'll last, but it's been lasting all offseason. Good for him. Emmanuel Mosley's not. He missed the first 8 days of training camp on the COVID list. And when you miss time and jump in late, I'm always wondering, okay, how long until you pull your groin or hamstring? And it didn't take him long. It took him about 3 or 4 days to pull his hamstring, and that's about a 3-week injury. And he'll probably be back by week 1. But the thing with hamstring injuries is it's a vicious cycle. You miss time, you come back, you pull your hamstring because you're not in great shape. Same reason he pulled his hamstring to begin with. Deebo Samuel did the same thing last year. So Emmanuel Mosley, he's way behind the 8 ball. He missed most of camp. He's had 4 days. Now he's got a hamstring injury. This could be a recurring thing. Plus, he got hurt last year. He got a concussion last year. He was in and out. He's not necessarily someone the Niners can rely on, even though, well, and they don't have to if Deommodore Lenoir steps up. Yesterday in practice, the starter was Dante Johnson. Every time Verrett or Mosley is out, the Niners would put a vet in to start in practice. First, it was Tim Harris Jr. They gave him 4 days and they cut him. Then it was Ken Webster. They gave him like 4 days. They cut him too. Now it's Dante Johnson. I hope it doesn't mean they cut Dante. He's a good guy. Special teams guy. He didn't. But anyway, I don't think they want to throw in the rookies into the starting lineup yet in practice. There's still a couple weeks left and they want to. But if Emmanuel Mosley misses time, I think that Lenoir is going to have to be the one who steps up. You can't start Dante Johnson, Kyle. You've tried that. It doesn't work. You could lose a game that you should win if you start Dante Johnson. He's not good enough. You know what you get from him. Lenoir is interesting, though. He's a rookie. He's played pretty well so far. He's outplayed Ambry Thomas. He probably has more potential than Dante Johnson. Coverage is a little stickier. You need Deommodore Lenoir to be good. I don't know if he is. I feel like Hufanga is good. Deommodore, I don't know. He's had some flashes. Ambry Thomas looks like he has potential. He's good in the one-on-ones, although, God, he's very, very – seems like he's going to get a lot of pass interference penalties in the NFL. That's what I'm going to say. He's very physical, and they don't call it a lot in the Niners practices, but I think they will in games. So doesn't seem like you're pushing him to the starting spot. You're pushing Lenoir. And so far, so good. We haven't seen him with the starters yet, but you need him to step up. If he doesn't, you got problems. You got dire straits. So let's see what he's got. At least you drafted 2 corners. That was smart. You have a big issue at both offensive line and cornerback. Double up because you guys aren't that good at drafting. Maybe one of them will be good. So far, I'm not sure that any of your offensive linemen that you drafted are good, but Lenoir could be. Hufanga could be. So he's very important. Lenoir is one of your most important backups this year, along with Talanoa, Hufanga, Jalen Moore, Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are your most important backups this year. The Niners need to keep Jimmy Garoppolo because they got rid of Josh Rosen. So all the more reason to bench him before week 1 and get that cap space, that pay cut. All right, last topic. Why Daniel Brunskill is so important. So the last 2 guys I mentioned, Lenoir and Hufanga, they're backups. And they may be thrust into action sooner rather than later. Brunskill is a starter. And so right now, he's your weak link on the offensive line. At times in the past, it was Mike McGlinchey. But right now, it looks like Brunskill's having a worse camp. When I see him in one-on-ones, he loses almost every time. I like Daniel Brunskill. He's had good moments in real games, and that's why he's starting for you. But he's really struggling at camp. He didn't play particularly well in that first preseason game. He's your weak link. And, he's not the weakest weak link on an offensive line in the league. But the problem is there's no improvement coming down the pike. Colton McKivitz is not an improvement. Tom Compton is not an improvement. And Aaron Banks is not an improvement right now. He looked soft, and now he's injured. That was the second-round pick who you drafted to replace Daniel Brunskill because he's a weak link, because you don't want him to start at right guard. But Banks is looking like all the other offensive linemen you drafted who aren't good. So you really need Brunskill to step up and play better. He has starting experience. He's been solid in the past. If he can't at least play at an acceptable level, you got another position without a starting caliber player, and you see yourself as a Super Bowl contender. These other teams aren't going into week one with a backup caliber player at starting at right guard or at strong safety or at corner. You're now in a position where you almost have backup starting. Who knows what happens at left tackle? Your depth is non-existent this year because the fifth highest paid player in the league is on your team, and his name is James Garoppolo. So you are now in a position where Daniel Brunskill has to play 17 games, because if he misses a game, if your worst player on your offensive line misses a game, you're in trouble. You're only as good as your worst offensive lineman, because the drop off from him to Colton McKivitz is outrageous. So Kyle, I mean, you don't need me to tell you what position you're in, but I'm just reminding you. This is what you get for riding two horses at quarterback. This is what you get for having the highest paid quarterback room in the league. There's a price. I know it sounds cool to have the highest paid quarterback room in the league because it's an important position and you've had issues keeping the starter healthy the last couple of years. But if you spend 17, 18% of your cap space on one position, then others are going to be thin as hell, like this one. So you tried to draft these guys to help out. They haven't worked out. Now, Daniel Brunskill has to be a really solid professional football player. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, Kyle. You're in a tough spot. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. The audio lagging behind the video is really, really upsetting. I don't know what's going on here, man. I really don't. I tried. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. I'm out, though. I'll be back later.